Am I the a-hole for not eating a Thanksgiving dish I suspect was made last year? Long-time lurker, first-time poster, but I'm so baffled about this situation I need a non-biased perspective. My husband and I, 30-ish, have a quite large family, his parents, his 2 siblings plus spouses and kids, my divorced parents and their new spouses, plus my siblings and their spouses and kids. Altogether, we are well over 20 people, so family gatherings can be overwhelming for the person hosting. And yes, my divorced parents and their new spouses get along fine and there's no drama. Last night we celebrated Thanksgiving and as a family tradition, everyone brings a dish. Usually we communicate with each other so that way everyone is making different types of food. My sister-in-law, wife of my brother, said that she was going to bring her mom's famous sweet potato casserole. I thought it was very nice of her since her mom passed away this year and she was honoring her memory by making her recipe. However, once I saw her dish, I truly think she brought last year's leftovers. Instead of a big pan, she brought several small and medium containers of sweet potato casserole. Although it did not smell weird, it was very dry and just didn't look like a regular one. I didn't try it and discreetly told my husband my concerns, who also did not try it. Once Thanksgiving was over, my mother called me saying that my sister-in-law was upset because she noticed I didn't try her dish. I told my mother about my fears and she said that I'm just too picky with food and there's no way a frozen casserole could last a year without having mold. I pointed that the several containers could mean she cut the good parts and left the moldy ones. After an awkward silence, we decided to agree to disagree and hang up. I feel bad for my sister-in-law, but I truly could not bring myself to eat something I am not 100% sure is safe. So am I the a-hole? Some of OOP's comments. Commenter: I would not have eaten it either. Not a chance. It's odd that something wouldn't come in one dish. OOP: that is one of the things that made me uneasy. It was not that she had to make the dish unexpectedly. So why the several containers? SMH. Commenter: I personally think it's more likely that she's just not good at making the dish and for whatever reason made it in the smaller dishes. Maybe she doesn't own a big one. Maybe it was occupied. Rather than coming up with a whole elaborate story in your head, why wouldn't you have just asked about the detail that was concerning you? Not in a "I think you are trying to give me food poisoning" way, but in a curious and making idle conversation way. Also, although many leftovers would not taste as good after a year in the freezer burn yo, they wouldn't be moldy, and if the freezer is working properly, the food would be unlikely to make you sick. Especially something like sweet potato. You don't have to try everyone's food, but I think you massively overreacted here. OOP: I didn't ask because I didn't want to put on the spot if the answer was, I reheated last year's food. Commenter: I think there is something actually wrong with the OP's freezer if she thinks that mold in a freezer is inevitable. OOP, downvoted. Hi. My mom was the one that made the mold comment, not me. I am not even sure why she said it. I don't cook on a daily basis, my husband does, and the leftovers of the night are usually eaten the next day at work lunch. So I've never frozen any cooked food. The funny part is that at a party, I always make flan. Commenter: this is where I feel like OP is NTA for not trying the dish. Eat what you like. But they absolutely are an a-hole for concocting this story about it being last year's food that she cut mold out of and put into smaller dishes and spread this nonsense to other family members. That's some poisoning the well BS. I'm assuming OP doesn't think very highly of sister-in-law at all. OOP, downvoted. Thank you for your input. I only said it to my husband and was very discreet about it. I mentioned it to my mom after the party and only because she called me about it. I love my sister-in-law and didn't want to put her on the spot. I actually feel bad that she may be upset. Commenter: can I ask a potentially misguided question? Why would it have been a big deal if the answer was, I reheated last year's food? In that case, it would only have been in the freezer for a year, and it would have been an opportunity for her to share a memory of her late mother cooking it last year. OOP, downvoted. Personally, I would not eat a casserole that was frozen for a year, which was my suspicion and why I just skipped it. I felt if I had asked in the middle of the party and got that response, some other family members would have also skipped her dish, which would have made her feel bad. OOP clarifies to a highly upvoted white yay response. Hey, thanks for taking the time and sharing your thoughts. Just a few things. I did quietly just skipped her dish, and I also discreetly told my husband. As said, we are over 20 loud people with kids, so I thought it went unnoticed. My mom called me after the event was over. I didn't reach out to her. I was honest with her as to why I didn't eat the dish. My sister-in-law was not visibly upset at the party. She mentioned it to my mother after the event, which made my mother call me. I don't know who ate what, and I didn't ask my mother if I was the only one my sister-in-law noticed who didn't try her food. However, I appreciate your input about her mental health and will check on her. I love my sister-in-law and care for her, so I definitely want her to feel supported. Top comment on post. NTA. Let's say for argument's sake that the casserole was made yesterday on Thanksgiving. If you just decided you didn't want sweet potato casserole, you'd still be in the situation and you'd still be justified in not eating it. Either way, the person who made the dish should not be closely monitoring who took some. That's very strange. Eat what you want to eat at these types of gatherings. OOP is voted NTA, but responses are heavily mixed. Update, same post 12 hours later. Update to my post. After spending my whole morning reading and answering your comments, I decided to pass by my mother's house and have an in-person talk with her. I read her some of the comments on the original post, and she thinks the internet is a strange place. We agreed I can always come and tell her what I think truthfully. She has not talked to anyone else in the family about the yam debacle. We decided to call my brother and ask if we can go to his house and have a talk with him and my sister-in-law. He said to brace ourselves and come with an open mind. When we got there, my sister-in-law started crying uncontrollably, and my brother took us to the kitchen, which was a mess. Long story short, they were indeed leftovers, just not a year old. I guess sometime before her passing, sister-in-law and her mom had made several family recipes as a bonding experience. The casserole was one of the staple recipes, and my sister-in-law had froze several containers of it. On Thanksgiving week, she thawed some of it and tried to replicate the taste without luck. I guess the pressure of making it for us got the best of her, and she got more and more frustrated as the date approached. On Thursday, she finally gave up and decided to just reheat the ones she had frozen. As to why my sister-in-law noticed that I didn't eat her dish, apparently in prior years I had complimented the casserole as "this is the best one I've ever tried." So this year she was expecting some comment and was sad when I didn't even try it. I apologized and told her I was really sorry that I hurt her feelings. She apologized for singling me out. We told her to rest, and in the meantime me, my mother and brother, we cleaned the kitchen, tidied the house, and Mom made her a soup, ajiako, if you know, you know. My mom decided to stay, but I left a bit after everything was done and everyone was calm. As a goodwill gesture, I'm getting my sister-in-law a mini spa day that I think she will enjoy and help her feel better. So that's pretty much it. No big fight, no big dramatic scene. Sorry, not sorry. Thank you all for your opinions. I will be more thoughtful of people's feelings, but I still will not eat something I don't want just to please someone. No reports that anyone got sick. BTW. Lastly, does my mother think frozen food can get moldy? She claims she said it in the heat of the moment and because I was annoying her. She knows cooking is not my forte, so she thought I had no good comeback to that. I opened her freezer and there's only meat and ice cream. So, who knows at this point?